Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Bagel Cast.
That was your joke? Guys, can we talk about this for a second?
You begged for the intro.
He was like, guys,
you begged for the intro on this one.
Please, I have the fucking funniest joke. That was better than most of the suggestions we got in the comments of the last podcast. People were like, the dairy podcast, the spoiled milk podcast. Like, these... Is it better than the milk podcast that I did use when we uploaded? I don't know how good it is, but pretty basic.
I chose the Bagel Cast because what we're talking about at some point
is everything
in this
everywhere
podcast.
all at once.
No, we're not talking about everything. There's been a lot of bagels in important scenes
Oh yeah, the
in movies
bagel!
lately.
I forgot about the bagel.
You thought you
What?
didn't
No.
realize I was talking about Spiderverse the entire fucking
It's
time?
like it's legitimately one of the most important plot
But
elements.
you guys saw it more recently than me. I only saw it a couple days ago.
So you forgot but the bagel's the most memorable part.
That
Like,
is not the most
I don't
memorable
remember
part of the
anything
movie.
else.
The bagel
I
is
don't
not the
remember
most
anything
memorable
else
part of
about
the movie. What do you mean, bro?
Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Spelling Milk Podcast. I'm Kor.
I'm Jack.
That's not what the podcast
It's called
is
the Milk
I'm
Podcast,
Eden,
and I'm Jack.
and I'm Eden.
On this episode of Half in the Bagged Milk, we're going to be talking about the new Spiderverse movie.
Yippee, bro. We all saw it. I saw it opening day, Friday. I saw it on Friday, really late. I saw it like 10:15 showing. It was pretty.
That's not opening day. That's opening night.
It is open. Okay. Okay, bro. Okay, I saw it opening night.
Little fucking semantic nerd emoji ass
Fuck
over
it.
here.
We're gonna talk spoiler free for a bit, and then we're gonna get into spoilers once we kind of bring everything up. But like, before we get into, how was your guys' theater experience? Because I know like seeing a shitty Marvel movie, like opening weekend, can like bring out all the cretins and like Marvel fans who are like, "Yippee, Captain America, he's on the screen." So like, did you guys experience any like cringers in your theater or like any shitty?
Cringers. I experienced people enjoying themselves because they like Marvel. I wouldn't really call them.
No,
Dude,
but this
I had a family.
I'm just saying, like,
No,
there's
go
people
ahead.
that like scream at the movie and like don't.
Yes, there are people. There was no one screaming, but there was like gasping and clapping.
I think no, that's good. It's just like like there are times I go to see like Endgame, for instance, where like people are like, no, what the hell? They're like talking so loud during the movie, like yelling over the movie just because they're so excited. And I'm like, I get that, but I'm like, I don't know, kind of keep it down.
No, okay. I think I told Jack this story already, but Corey, I had a family cutaway gag. No, Family Guy cutaway. Man, Family Guy cutaway gag at the movie theater. So like literally, I'm Peter and my friend was Brian. Like I could literally just say it word for word right now. So I was sitting. The movie had just started. They were doing like. So this isn't really spoilers because it's like the first 5 minutes of the movie, but like it was like Gwen Stacey beginning part of the movie, right?
She's in the
That's her name,
movie?
right?
What? White
Yes,
woman?
The white woman spotted is in the second movie, but I was just gonna say like she was like doing her whole backstory, the setup of the movie or whatever, and then this guy he like coming in with popcorn and soda, like oh sorry I'm late, coming in. He is moving at a snail's pace. You know, like when you're walking by, you like kind of try to be low. Dude is like 6'6" and he doesn't even care. Got the root beer belly, so he's like really cramming to get through with everyone. And I swear to God, he walks halfway through the aisle, and like my whole row is packed. I'm like, where the fuck is this guy sitting? Like, at least like all the seats to my left to the end, and at least like the next 5 seats to the right are all someone's already sitting there. I'm like, did this guy like come in on the wrong side and is just gonna walk through the whole thing to sit on the right side? No, he walks like halfway through to where I am. I'm like kind of close to the middle. Stands in front of me for like 30 seconds, like confused. And I'm like trying to watch this emotional ass scene on the screen right now. And then like his friend is like yelling at him like, yo, dude, over here. He's in the row underneath.
Man
so
is
he
lost.
slowly
Man is
walks
lost.
all the way out, blocking everyone.
What if he jumps
And I'm
over
just-
the seats? Like you ever do that like in the theater? He like jumps over
He
the.
would have saved everyone a lot of time if he just
Why didn't he
did
just
that.
jump
Like,
over the people? Like, I feel like
That would have been a lifesaver.
it would save people's time. They try.
He should have taken a leap of faith.
True.
You know what I mean?
What's
Come on,
up?
guys.
Dude, speaking of leap
Theater.
of faith, bro, like there was this fucking guy in the theater that the theater collectively laughed at one point. This one guy, he is running down the staircase, but he's like jumping. He's jumping like 4 stairs at a time, like stomp, like making like a banger ass sound. And then everyone in the theater collectively looks at him and starts laughing very loud. Like everyone just starts, everyone's just laughing at it. It's also at the
That's
beginning
hilarious.
of the movie with the Gwen.
Bro thinks he's Spider-Man.
He thought he was Spider-Man. He thought he was Miles.
Man was
But he
not
was white,
Spider-Man.
so like he can't be Miles. So
No,
You
dude,
know-
there's this one scene right in the beginning of the movie where like Gwen is like, no context, no spoiler. She's like to the character that she's talking to in the beginning. She's like, "You're the only thing I have." And then someone just burst out laughing behind me by themselves. It was 100% a sad scene. There was literally zero way to interpret it.
I think Hiding might have done that, to be honest.
damn.
What? What?
Damn.
Okay. So I went to see the theater with two of my roommates, Evan, who you might know. He's been in a couple videos. We
Evan
read him pretty
Ito.
often on our stream.
He watches VTubers
and our friend Hiding as well.
he plays Persona.
Hiding has not seen the first Spiderverse movie.
What?
Dude, what
Fuck
the
Hiding.
fuck?
Okay, I'm ready to go fuck with Hiding.
How?
What?
We went to see
How?
this
Hasn't he
movie.
seen it?
And then after like the first like 15 minutes of the movie, he turns to me. He's like, "I have no idea what's going on."
Because I've literally because like this movie, it there's like a time skip and everything like that. But generally speaking, it like picks up right at the end of the story. There's
they
this is what happened last. Like, no, they're just like, you must know what's happening. And then the way the movie ends as well, it's like you can tell that the next one is just gonna pick up. Which means like whenever all three of these movies are out, like this is gonna be like the best binge experience
Yeah,
ever.
dude.
Like this
Yeah.
is just one 6-hour long movie.
I mean, I don't know.
reality.
I feel like the first one's pretty complete.
The first one's definitely complete. This one definitely needs a
like
third one.
there's some stuff in there where they try and pick you up to speed. Like they do like some narration. They briefly summarize the events in the last movie, but it's pretty fast. It's like so fast paced and stylized that
Yeah.
I can imagine it being kind of hard to follow if you don't like have. It's more just to refresh your memory.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it in a while.
No, I thought that was a really good way because like it's not like some stupid anime bullshit where they spend like the first 5 minutes recapping everything.
One Piece.
They actually
Yeah.
do it like in a quick way. But I already
don't-
watched the movie recently, so I didn't need that. But
I don't think my theater was that crazy, to be honest. I mean, I only saw it last night, which is that's on the 4th.
yeah,
So I'm not like in the very first like opening weekend. Like I'm catching it a little bit later.
yeah,
But I will say people showed up for this one because the theater I went to, the theater by where we are, is pretty often really empty. The theater was pretty close to full.
yeah. Me too. It was crazy.
which says a lot.
I watched it in a big ass theater, which like it has its pros and cons. Like someone brought their baby, and I'm like, if there's a baby on an airplane, I'm like, it's chill. You know what I mean? Like you gotta get somewhere,
It's
and you have a
chill?
child. Your
it is
life
not
sucks.
chill,
I understand.
bro.
Dude,
Throw that bitch
throw
out
that
the
baby
airlock.
out the air-
Throw that bitch out
Look,
the airlock. Fuck
okay,
that.
That's what I was
okay,
saying.
I hate babies on planes just as much as the next guy, but sometimes they don't have a choice. They gotta go somewhere.
Bro,
they
you
have
have
a
checked
child.
luggage for a reason.
I'm
You
pro-choice,
don't need
bro.
to bring
I'm
your
pro-choice.
baby to the movie theater. Like, I'm just gonna be honest with you. You do not need to, like, wait until your kid is just a little older to where they just don't cry, like, and they can't control it whatsoever. Like, you can wait till it comes out on digital, or you can at least like not watch it
You
on
can wait
opening
until
weekend.
your kid is capable of forming
Yeah,
memories.
That kid
I
is not
don't
gonna
know,
remember
but-
anything.
That was like definitely the con. That like anytime there was a quiet scene or like an emotional scene, I just hear,
Yeah.
it's just all that. But the pro is that like anytime there was like a Marvel reference that I would have never understood ever, and because I don't care about Marvel and I don't watch movies like that, everybody was just screaming, and I was like, oh shit, that was probably like a reference or something. That's cool, I guess. I don't
I
know.
like that. I like that.
I think there wasn't too much talking. There was a little bit of like reactions when, there was like big references.
Yeah.
The one thing I remember, there's one guy behind us that I felt like I formed a connection with this man. I didn't even look at I didn't turn around and look at him, but he talked, but just the right amount. Like something would happen and be like, "Hey, oh man, that's crazy." And I was like,
Okay,
"I
that's
love
the
you.
goat, that's
You're
the
my
goat."
brother. You're my brother."
That's
funny.
and
That's
then-
funny.
And then probably the best moment was like the movie ended. And I say this going in, I didn't realize that this was part 1.
I forgot. I forgot.
I did not
I
know
didn't know that either.
that there was
I
didn't know
not,
that either.
this was not, I just realized I was looking at the thing and I was like, it feels like this movie's been going on for a long time and we're really far from a conclusion. And then when the end of the movie hits, just one guy in the theater goes, "Hey, oh man, what the fuck?" And then everybody in the
Really?
theater laughs.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? I made it to the end of that movie. I was like, oh my god, we're about to get a crazy fight. I did not realize that 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Dude, that was
Like,
so fast.
I was
That movie's so good.
entirely clueless to that fact.
God, that movie's so good, man.
Clueless.
No, it was fucking. I guess we can talk about the movie now. That was
Yeah,
fucking.
Phil Lord, Chris Miller, I forgive you for the Clone High
Dude,
reboot.
it's
Your
fucked.
sins are absolved.
We watched Clone High on Thursdays, the new Clone High on Milk. Then next day I see Spiderverse Whiplash. These guys are fucking creating like the worst cartoon, and then they make like the best movie of the year, like out of nowhere. Like, man, I think the dialogue in this movie is some of like the best dialogue I've seen in a movie ever.
Dude,
Like, it was so funny. It was so consistent.
This was my first time watching a movie in a while without subtitles, and like I didn't even understand like 25% of the jokes, but I still laughed every time. I'm like, dude, that guy sounds funny. I'm gonna laugh.
pacing, man. It's
The
I mean, I
personalities
couldn't
in
hear
this,
like 10% of the jokes, so I will say
I
that
heard a lot
much.
of people have problems with that. Like the theaters, like the audio was fucked or something. Like
I just like the dialogue is too quiet, in my opinion, especially because there's a lot of whispering in this movie. Like Gwen is talking like this, like the whole, like especially
and also there's
in
a
the
British
beginning of
person.
the the British guy. He's already hard enough to understand as
Dude,
is. He's basically a different
the
species.
best character, best character.
He is awesome though. I love him.
Hobie, bro.
And
Dude, I am so happy I didn't watch a single fucking trailer because when he took off that
I don't think
mask,
he was
bro,
in the trailers.
I
He wasn't
like-
in the trailers.
He was. He,
He
had
was,
his own
he was.
trailer.
Oh, I didn't
he
watch
had his
that
own
trailer.
And he takes off his mask, and then he's like, "I'm a hot black guy," and I'm like, "No way!"
Dude.
But like, I was surprised when I saw it in the movie. I was like, "Yo, that's
Yeah, I didn't
sick."
see that trailer either. Yeah, it was so fucking good, man.
Because when you hear a British guy, I'm thinking, George not found pasty white boy, underneath. But then I'm like, no, we have this guy who has like the most badass character design
Oh,
ever.
he's so cool. It's voiced by the dude from Get Out. Voices him.
that's
Jordan
cool. I didn't
Peele?
know that.
Jordan Peele.
The dude from Get Out. But yeah, I don't know. At least in my theater, I mean, my friend Hiding said he didn't have a problem with it, but like me and Evan both felt like it was a little quiet at times, especially for the characters that have strong accents. Because like in the
okay.
intro, they're playing like loud ass fucking drumming.
Oh,
Like
that
it's
was so
really
sick.
loud music, and then she's talking in like a quiet voice over top of this
okay.
with her monologue.
Yeah,
I was like-
I know exactly what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
it's a little hard to catch.
Yeah.
And that's literally like my only problem with the whole movie.
Yeah,
Like,
it was.
that's legitimately my only complaint is that I just wish I could turn subtitles on because I'm used to watching literally everything with it now.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with it, but I saw a lot of people were saying that like the mixing was off, and I'm like, fuck, that sucks. I enjoyed it, but yeah, I don't know. That movie was, dude. I don't remember the last time I laughed like so fucking hard at like every scene of a movie. Like each scene of this movie felt like that one scene that you pointed out when we were watching the original Spider-Verse Core. Whenever like Peter and Miles are like walking up the wall together, and it plays a bunch of different it's showing Miles struggling to be a Spider-Man while also like having exposition. Like every scene in this movie felt like there were so many
True.
different things going on. Like
There was
Yeah.
probably only like 2 moments in the entire movie where characters were just talking to each other, and that was all that was going on.
like
But then even then they found ways to like make it really
yeah, there's always like this
interesting.
underbelly of like the plot progressing or the characters developing. It was great.
I mean, just in a literal sense, like if the characters are explaining something to another character, like there's like a necessary dialogue where something needs to be explained to the viewer, or something needs to be explicitly shown that one character is communicating it to another character. They are most of the time doing something, whether it's action or just being on the way to a place in a like really cool animated scene, to where there's like not even the potential for you to ever feel bored
Dude.
while watching
Yeah,
this
they're
movie.
always like going somewhere, or at least the characters have something to do with the acting and the staging that like it makes it interesting. Which I mean, I'm sure that lends to why it's so like consistently, beautiful. Because I don't know, and animators generally want to work on things that they like. And if you give them a scene that's just 2 characters talking, like just talking heads, I mean, they'll give you that. But if you let them have the freedom to explore and do something more creative, they'll go as hard as they can.
I would love to know how many individual animators worked on that movie, because
Right.
it is a lot. Like just literally I imagine there must have been like specific teams designated towards animating certain characters, because every single character is animated in a completely different art style. You know what I mean?
Like Hobie alone, Hobie, like the fucking Spider-Punk guy alone, probably took like 20 people. Like, because each different part of him is animated at like a different frame rate. Like all the all the different layers of him. I'm like it's so fucking
the
cool.
one tweet that I saw. I'm assuming that's the one you're referencing. Where they said his body's on 3s, the vest is offset by 1 frame, the guitar's on 4s, and the outline's on 2.
Yeah, it's like how do you even think of that? How the fuck do you even
like
think
the
of that?
technical knowledge you need to even hypothesize what that would look like is insane.
Like first you have to think of that. Like have like we're gonna do this for one side character. It's not even the main character of the movie. Just like, but everyone loves him. Like my entire Twitter feed is just fan art of that specific character. Like, yeah. But so like,
dude, there was a lot of Spanish in that movie.
There was.
Okay, I went with like me. I'm Puerto Rican, and then Miles is half Puerto Rican, and then I went with my Colombian friend, so he was like Pog-oing. Is that the right one? Is Pog-oing?
Pog is the weird one. Pog-you.
Pog-you?
Yes.
He was Pog-youing to the Spanish as
Got
well.
the top off,
but then I also went with my fucking Indian friend. I swear to God, that made the movie like 1,000 times better.
It's multicultural, bro. It's multicultural.
Because he was like...
It's
he was
so
like
woke and so
giddy
lit.
in his seat. He was like shaking. He was shaking viscerally every single time the Indian dude did like anything crazy.
Dude,
like
it
I
was
just
awesome.
Happy, bro.
Dude, seeing the Malala.
You sure he wasn't having a seizure?
Yes, he was having a seizure.
You had to get fucking medical attention, bro. It was too awesome. The Indian representation was too cool. Kor mentioned the fucking the Spider-Man with the hijab. Like, which is literally just Malala.
I don't remember that.
It's like a short reference. It's right when they get to the Spiderverse area, like when Miles and stuff get to the Spiderverse area for the first time, and it's like Malala.
Okay, can we get into spoilers officially?
Yeah.
Like,
we're into
the next 10 minutes or so are going to be spoilers.
We're spoiling.
I thought that was a 10 out of 10 movie. I genuinely think you can't physically possibly make a better movie than that. Like, the only way you could really truly make that movie better is by just making it 4 hours long and not ending it on a cliffhanger. Like, that's actually the only way I could think of making it better.
Well,
I will say that I was holding in a groan or two when it came to like how Marvel fan servicey it was. You know what I mean?
Really?
Like the multiverse stuff. You know what I mean? Like I think like it worked with the plot. There was no contradictions or anything like that, and it made the story enticing, and it raised stakes in a really good way. But like whenever I saw like the live action footage of other Spider-Mans dying, I'm like, all right, like, are we doing too much right now? I don't know.
I just thought it was like funny. Whenever
you thought there was no way that was supposed to be funny.
You mean whenever fucking Andrew Garfield's dying?
When you see Andrew,
when
I saw that, I was like, why Andrew Garfield?
That one
like,
specifically.
Of all the live, you could have had the Tobey Maguire one, like that. I feel
they did have the Tobey Maguire one as well.
But like the Andrew Garfield one, they really highlight for some reason.
Which is
I don't know why.
Because he's the worst one. So it's like how are you even supposed to like attach yourself to him?
Did you catch the Spectacular Spider-Man in there?
I did. He said something. I think he said a word.
I didn't know.
He's it's on one of the monitors in the background when they talk about like how everyone has like someone important die.
Oh, okay, cool.
Did they spoil Spectacular Spider-Man
just started
for
watching
me?
it,
God
bro.
damn it.
But like, no, I thought that one in particular, that reference is definitely. I think I groaned a little bit when I saw Andrew Garfield specifically. But I think all the other references were just like funny because I don't think like in other Marvel movies, I feel like they would dwell on that and like make it like a really cringe joke in a way. Like specifically in the latest Spider-Man, the No Way Home one, they would like, oh my God, you're Andrew Garfield. Like you have your own Mary Jane, and they'd be like, ha ha ha. It's like really cringe. But this one, they're like, dinosaur Spider-Man. That's funny. Dog Spider-Man. It's funny, and like they just keep like jumping between everything.
It is almost like completely comical how much better this movie is than any of like the Tom Holland movies. Like it just specifically in the concept of how they do like multiverse stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this movie is just infinitely better. Like I just conceptually, like as a practice, I kind of just dislike multiverses in media. But this movie is definitely like a really big exception with that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It plays with it so well.
It obviously it works because they kind of like that was like the basis for the concept with the first movie. They didn't really push it. in the first one because it's a pretty limited cast, whereas this one has like fucking 2 billion different character models. Like Jesus Christ, the modeling team was going ham.
They were going hard.
But what I think makes it work for me is specifically the context in which this movie exists, which is a media sphere that is over inundated with fucking a million different superhero things. Like the fact that it's being this sort of meta and connecting all these different pieces of the media into one sort of story, like making it a part of one narrative, feels right for the culture. Like it would be a little weird to tell like a just normal down to earth Spider-Man story in the current sphere. We've gotten that like a million times already.
Yeah.
So
But then it's like literally
it to
where
this
do you
height.
go next after that?
That's a good question.
That is a good.
It's like it's already expanded upon itself like so much. What could you possibly
Eventually
do
it'll
next?
insist upon itself.
It'll insist upon. This movie did insist upon itself a little bit, but in a good way. In a good way, I would say. I like how it insisted.
It
upon itself.
insisted it was a 10 out of 10.
I think the one thing that I'm like slightly tired, like I don't mind it because I think that any single Marvel trope that I could possibly dislike, I am okay with, just because the way they do it in this movie is just perfect. You know what I mean? Like one trope that comes to mind is like not being able to tell your parents that you're a superhero. It's like, why? Realistically, why? Why can you not do that?
Because you're,
you know what
well,
I mean?
you're just afraid of the unknown. Like you're afraid, like what will happen. Like your parents won't
Yeah,
accept
but I
you.
feel like
that's kind of just.
I feel like, yeah, for sure. But I feel like almost halfway through the movie, it feels like if anyone sat down rationally and thought about this for like 10 seconds, there's like 99 pros as to why you should and one con. But like it takes a while for the superhero to come to terms with that. That's just like really common in like most superhero media. But I felt like this movie like almost made it like a lot more relatable, just because of like it's almost like more understandable because of like with Uncle Aaron and then like the specific expectations that his like parents have for him and stuff like that.
Well, that's what I think is cool about this one, because generally speaking, like the parents' explanation is really an excuse. Like from a storytelling perspective, it's a lot easier to tell these kind of stories if the parents aren't involved.
Yeah.
Like it kind of makes things messy. So a lot of the times with us, if you're telling a superhero narrative, especially when it's like supposed to be a kid, like Miles is a kid, he's only like 15. He's not like a grown adult superheroing around or whatever. It makes sense that they would want to keep it a secret. And the fact that this movie made that idea of keeping it a secret like a central part of the like emotional arc, like that's basically the entire arc that happens with Gwen in the movie, which is like I'd say like the point of resolution for this movie, because it ends on a cliffhanger.
Oh my god! Please let me just say something real quickly.
You've interrupted me so much.
Go ahead.
That was the best part of the movie. The structure with the foil between Miles and Gwen is the best part of the movie, and that the movie starts with Gwen not being able to tell like her dad, then making it to the end, and she kind of like gets her moment of acceptance and everything like that. And then you literally think that that's going to happen with Miles, because structurally, one happens right after the other in the beginning, then one happens right after the other, you would assume, towards the end of the film, and then that fake out, bro. Oh my goodness.
No, I completely fell for it. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, everyone did.
I completely fell for it.
I was like, no!
Seriously.
No, dude,
They completely got me.
They got me, and then my friend fucking Greg was like, dude, they had the spider on the screen. Like, it wasn't the right. I'm like, shut the fuck up, bro. They got me. They got... that Gwen part, though, I felt was a little rushed. The conclusion to it felt a little like a coincidence. Like Hobie, he left the thing like with the dad. I don't know. It felt like kind of like a rushed, like the last like 10 minutes.
Really?
Kind of, for me, it felt like it was kind of rushing to some conclusion. I don't know. The rest of the movie I felt was like perfectly paced, but then near the end, it kind of felt like a little weird to me. That's the only thing. That's the only thing I
think the movie was perfectly paced. I didn't have a single problem with the pacing.
I thought it was just a little
film.
corny, that like last scene with Gwen and her dad, But
That's like my favorite scene in the movie.
really, okay,
Yeah, I think it's the best scene.
Okay,
That's so funny.
I just didn't. That was the only thing I didn't.
This is truly a spectrum of opinions right now.
That's the only thing I didn't like though, because I wanted like a conclusion of the movie. I wanted it to be 4 hours. To be honest, I would have watched 4 hours of this movie. Give me the rest of it. But
I mean, it's crazy because it's not even that long of a wait. It's coming out in March next year. Like that's
So
pretty
we already
soon.
talked about the fake out and everything. So do we just want to go back to general thoughts so we can be like, click here, we're done spoiling the whole movie? Or do you have
I don't
anything
know.
else to say?
I just liked all the
That's kinda
references.
spoiler.
I just thought the whole India like situation was really cool.
India situation.
Like that.
Well,
The India situation. They're overpopulated.
I mean, I did like I do want to. Okay, so my understanding, they go to the universe. Is the entire world India? Like is it just
No. They were just in India.
It's Mumbai.
India took over.
It's Mumbai, but it's Manhattan. It's like a Manhattan like version of like Mumbai because it's Mumbai Hatton or whatever. So it's
Okay.
it's like New York and Mumbai combined, basically. What
so
it
like
is.
if India became the primary
Yes.
like cultural center.
Well,
is
it could happen.
I want to imagine that it's a universe, it's a world where
all
India
India.
took over the entire world.
India was
it's
going to become
all
a
India.
superpower in 2020. So
That's my headcanon.
They're
for
going
that
to take
one.
over the world, bro. It's over. It's over. I'm moving to India, guys. This is my announcement. The next topic. Yeah, I don't know.
But I mean, yes, I guess from like a storytelling perspective, since that's like the most of the spoilery stuff, I thought it was really well executed. The thing I like is that the dialogue in this movie really doesn't feel overwritten.
Yeah.
It definitely went through a lot of like thought and drafts, and I think part of the reason it probably is like this is because it was only written by 3 people, not like 40 people.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really feel like it was like executive overseen to death. The way the characters talk actually feels a lot more similar to the way characters talk in live action movies,
Yeah.
not in animated movies. Like there's a specific way a lot of characters talk in animated movies where they're like, hey, why don't we go and get that thing? Like it feels weirdly kind of artificial and really structured to a certain end.
yeah. Can
There
I
was
give an
a lot
example,
more
maybe?
naturalistic dialogue.
Can I give an example? I would say that whenever Miles had his gamer moment, whenever he had his Luffy moment,
Oh, whenever
like,
he's there
I
on the
feel like-
train and like he's like, oh,
yeah, I feel
my
like if that
time.
was like a normal animated media, he would be like, I'm gonna do my own thing. But like he literally just says it like super casually, like almost under his breath.
Yeah.
You know what
Like
I
a
mean?
badass way.
Or like, I mean, a big moment for me would be the exchange between Gwen and Miles
Oh yeah.
when she comes to visit him, and
That's
they're
really
like
good.
sitting up on the thing and they're talking. Like the way they say like these half sentences, like they'll say like a little bit, and then there's just like this pause, because that's how you talk when
Yeah.
you're talking to somebody, especially if it's like an awkward kind of difficult moment. You don't fill all the dead air. You kind of like stumble through saying something.
No,
It
You
felt
stumble over
really
speech.
more sincere.
yeah, that's one of my favorite parts of the movie is like Gwen visiting Miles. I think that it feels like it's like some of the most natural dialogue I've seen. It's like it just feels like two close friends finally reconnecting. It's like something like anyone can like relate to. Like you haven't seen a friend in a while. Oh,
Yeah.
like, you're kind of coming back. It literally reminds me of like some of the dialogue in like one of their other movies, like 21 Jump Street. Like it literally feels like
How many movies did these fucking guys? These guys have made fucking.
they're goats.
Like,
They're goats. But
you
I mean,
guys just keep dropping bombs on me. They made 21
that's actually what I
Jump-
wanted to say. The whole like when we were talking about like the use of including the family as like a more important part of the theme, is that was low-key reminding me of the Lego movie. Like
Right.
the way it
Which they also
explores
made,
the
apparently.
themes
They
of
also made,
family.
yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, which they made.
which is a great movie. They're all
And I mean, Kemp Powers is one of the directors. He worked on the last movie and also worked on Soul. So,
so yeah.
you know, they've got a stellar squad.
I didn't realize that was the Soul. So the guy who directed Soul was like,
He was
wrote Soul?
co-director with Pete Docter and was a writer on Soul as
Oh,
well.
Pete Doctor is a hilarious.
Pete Doctor's a
name.
funny ass name, bro. He's a doctor of
Yeah,
animation. He's a PhD.
My uncle Pete works at Walmart. Walmart cashier. Pete, Walmart cashier.
Pete the Walmart cashier, bro. I don't know. This movie is I'm so pissed I have to wait a goddamn year for it to come. The second one to come.
It's not even a year though. It's literally only 9 months. So like that's pretty quick.
I'm gonna have a kid. I'm gonna have a kid now. I'm gonna impregnate a woman. Then I'll bring a child, my baby, to the movie.
Then you're gonna be the one bringing a baby to the theater.
I'll be the one. I promise you. I promise you. And guys, I guess that does it for this episode. We're going to do a Patreon exclusive second part of the episode. So if you guys want to access the Patreon exclusive part, you can pledge our Patreon down below. It is at $10 tiers. If you pledge $10 or more, you get access to the other 30 minutes of the podcast. So,
boy, I have so much to say about the animation in this movie, but I'm not going to say it yet.
Kor's going to say things, and you love when Kor says things, so go to the Patreon.
Why the fuck do my dog walk sideways, boy? Like, he don't walk regular. The pit walk heterosexually.